Okay, so this one is, in my opinion, an incredibly important topic. So, what's the point of all of this if we're not having fun, right? I mean, the whole point of all this computer stuff, of those of us that do this as a hobby, the whole point is to have fun. This is all stupid. This is all for nothing if we're not having fun, right? So I think it's really easy to hop on YouTube and see all of the cool new stuff that people are unboxing and they're playing with and they're having fun with. And when we don't have money for that stuff, it can kind of feel like we're left out. And you know, I mean, if you watch my most recent stuff, you'll see I do have some of the latest and greatest stuff. But that hasn't always been the case. I have been, forced to buy lower end, more affordable hardware for many, many, many years. It was only very recently that I started being able to kind of participate in all of the, all the fun around the new stuff. So what we're going to talk about here is how to have fun doing this, and you absolutely can. How to have fun doing this if you don't really have much or even any money to spend, to be totally honest with you. So, I mean, disclaimer here. No one's giving you free 4090s. It's not happening, okay? But you don't have to have that stuff to have fun, right? Like, there's a ton of fun to be had. So, what I always did was I would constantly be skimming Craigslist, OfferUp, Facebook Market for cheap deals. Now, I understand that takes a little bit of time and effort. But I mean, if you want something for nothing, you gotta be willing to put some effort into it. That's part of the fun. Some of the fun is to be had. I'll be honest. You have people that do all kinds of stuff. I've said this before, right? People do all kinds of stuff to get their rocks off, okay? You got people that jump out of perfectly good planes. You got people that drive cars at unsafe speeds. You got people that ride horses. Me, I get deals, okay? When I go pick up a deal for a computer, and this happens, okay? This is some of you guys aren't going to believe me on this, but when I pick up a computer that's $1,500 for $300, $400, right? It's not like those deals are happening every night, right? Those are rare deals. They're deals that I get if I'm watching, depending on the particular category of item. You got desktops, laptops, monitors, video cards. For each of those categories, these kind of deals will come along. Once a year, if you're really watching, you'll snag one. And that's part of the excitement. And then you get it and you take it home and you go through the thing, and one of the fun things to do is to get your list of parts, figure out what you got, and then you go on eBay and you see what people are actually paying for that. And you look at your video card in the computer you paid $300 for, and it's, I don't know, let's say you end up with an RTX 2080 Ti, okay? You might. I've seen deals like that before. You look at your 2080 Ti in this computer that you got for $350. You're like, oh my gosh, people are paying $200 for this video card, just for the card. And you realize, you've got $1,000 worth of hardware that you paid $350 for. It's a rush. At least it is for me. I enjoy it. I get fun out of it. And then the other part is, figuring out what games you can play. Let's say you've got, I don't know, let's say you pick up a deal I've gotten. Let's say you pick up an i7 9700K with an RTX 2080. Or no, it was a 2070. It had 2070, yeah. Okay. So the first thing I did after I got it up and running was I loaded Cyberpunk. And I went to see, okay, how far can I push Cyberpunk on this computer that I bought for $100? This game that people spend thousands of dollars on computers. I spent my computer, the primary purpose of my primary computer, the main reason that I bought a 4090 was to be able to run Cyberpunk 2077 with all of the settings turned all the way up at 4K. That was my motivator. Okay, that was my motivator when I bought that system. And so I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, I paid $4,000 for the system over here to run this game. How close can I get on this computer that I paid 40 times less for? Crazy to think, 40 times less. maybe more once you factor in all the extra storage and stuff. And it got closer than it should have, right? Like closer than it should have. That's all I'll say. Annoyingly close, right? There's a ton of fun to be had. You know, some hardware that I tell people to watch for, I'm always telling people to watch for deals. If you want something really fun to tinker with, an i7 4790K with a GTX 980 Ti. That would be a system that was originally built at those specs. Now, the cool thing with a system like that, if you get something that was originally built when those were top-end components, there's a good chance you're going to get a top-end power supply, a top-end motherboard, a top-end case, you know, all top-end stuff because it was top-end build. That was, you know, maybe a $2,500 build, something like that back in the day. That's a fun build to tinker around with. If you can get it for $100, maybe, yeah, I've never been into overclocking, but if you're into that kind of thing, you know, see how heavy you can overclock the 4790K and, you know, see how fast you can push them. You're going to be running Cyberpunk 2077, maybe as high as medium settings 1440p, depending. I haven't tried it in a while, but that's fun to mess around with. X99, some people will tell me it's not what it was, and that's true. X99 is not the you know, absolutely banger of a deal it used to be. But if you can get an X99 board, chip, and RAM combo for, I don't know, let's say you get a 5960X 8-core 16 gigs of RAM on a mid-level board for $75, $100, maybe $120, something like that, and then you pair it with like an old GTX 1070, 1080. You know, maybe you pick up a 1070 for $50. I've seen it. These are not just numbers I'm like pulling out of my butt, okay? These are numbers I've seen. I've seen these prices, okay? You know, let's say you've already got a decent piece of hardware. Let's say you got, I don't know, a Ryzen 9 3900X with like a 1080. Go watch the used market and you might find yourself a 3080 for $300. This is how I have fun. I don't have as much fun as I used to just because I don't have as much time on it, and I've got the money at this point to buy basically anything I want. So even when I want these items, I usually don't go looking for the deals like I used to. I usually just go on eBay, spend a few minutes looking, find the best deal on eBay, click buy, and get it shipped to me. I mean, I picked up, if you want to do retro hardware, some hardware, okay, so before I conclude here, I forgot about this. You can get deals for free hardware too, okay? A great one that I picked up last year, I picked up an old Dell, I believe it was an XPS. I can't remember if it was an XPS or a just an Inspiron. It might have just been an Inspiron, but it was a Ryzen, I think it was a Ryzen 7 1700X with 16 gigs and a Radeon RX 580. Okay, not the greatest hardware, but it was free. Look around on my YouTube. I think I did a YouTube video on it when I did it. I can't remember exactly. It was within the last couple of years. It was free. That's just a couple of years ago. Just a couple of years ago. We're not talking a decade ago. We're not talking in your grandpa's day. A couple of years ago. That was a mid-range build, okay? Free. Okay, now I'm not saying those are every day. I'm going to reiterate that. I'm not saying every day. You got to watch for that stuff. There's a lot of people that want that stuff. There's a lot of people like I used to be there that make their, you know, their dinner money off of a build like that. So if you want something like that, you got to compete. Like you got to be fast on those kind of deals. Competition is part of the fun. You know, sending that email, seeing that item go up, you know, 30 seconds after it went up, and emailing and waiting and waiting and waiting. And then you get that email. I still have it. Do you want to come get it? And you email them back and you're like, yeah, let's get it. And you go and get it and you pick it up and then you get it home. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. So that is how to have fun with computer hardware if you do not have much, or as I said before, even in some cases, any money at all. So I hope you guys found this to be kind of a more positive one. I know some of my stuff has been a little more on the negative side lately, but I hope this is kind of an excited, positive one to give you a little bit of excitement that even if you're that person that's broke and has no money, you can still participate in the fun that we're having with hardware. So anyway, have fun, and thanks for watching the video.